At IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.
The beginning of a new era in East Moline and making a better experience for bicyclists in the cities. The cities has been undergoing changes on its streets and along its trails to create a more friendly, bicycle-friendly community. The latest move could make a big impact in the cities. We'll talk about that in a moment, but first, East Moline has started its ambitious plan to revitalize three of the most important parts of the city, the Bend and the Rust Belt, which both help transform the area where the old Case Ag Equipment plant once stood, and downtown, that part of 15th Avenue that is seen as the city's main street. The Greater Downtown Revitalization Project is kicking off its first phase of its reconstruction right now, thanks in part to a multi-million-dollar state grant. We talked with Janelle Wolber, the new Executive Vice President for REDEEM, which stands for Revitalizing and Developing East Moline. Let's start with the effort to link the Bend and the Rust Belt and downtown. Yeah. And those darn railroad tracks and everything. So what is the key component to what is being done in phase one right now?
Yeah, so phase one, construction has begun in the Bend. So the Bend is going to be putting in new multi-use lanes, some landscaping, and some other amenities along the existing road network in the Bend. So,
and what is that going to accomplish other than pretty?
It's pretty, but it's also going to be the ability for people to easily access the different businesses in the region, or within the Bend, as well as access the other regions of the downtown.
Because we're seeing traffic increase in that area.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because businesses are growing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's the Bend. Then you take the Rust Belt. Mm-hmm. That'll be part of this whole Bend, Rust Belt, and downtown. So you're also working on so-called Main Street.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So the Main Street, the 5th Avenue is the Main Street. So in the Main Street, it's going to be a lot of new lighting, wider pedestrian walkways that have seating and shade so people can stay and hang out. There's going to be new wayfinding and safety elements to the downtown as well. One thing that's really interesting is there actually a 2-block area where there'll be depressed curbs and a more festival-like area. So that'll be a great spot to host events and other festivals in the future in downtown. So
East Moline has seen such great success with the Bend and Rust Belt.
Yeah.
And it's always been important for East Moline to somehow be a destination spot. Mm-hmm. And that really has helped.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, I mean, anything that we can do to bring more visitors to the downtown, to the Rust Belt, and the Bend is the ultimate goal.
Yeah, and you add the hotels.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's huge because it always boggled my mind that, and it was true, is East Moline had no hotels.
No hotels for a long time,
And now you've got this whole development. The downtown area had always been a little depressed. It was old. It wasn't being reinvested in. By creating this link between an area that is successful, which used to be the case, New Holland, which was all blacktop and empty building,
right.
To see that renovate so beautifully, you have some real ideas that downtown could be the same.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the hope, right? That people will go to a show at the Rust Belt and then go spend some time in the downtown at a local establishment. So, or have dinner before. So there's a lot of play between the different areas that we're hoping to capture once it's a little safer and a little more accessible to all people.
So tell me about the timeline for phase one.
Yeah, so this first phase, so it's actually a 3-year construction window. So phase one is the updates to the Bend as well as the first half of 15th Avenue. Next year in 2026, we'll see the second half of 15th Avenue, the downtown, as well as 12th Avenue, which runs in front of the Bend and the Rust Belt. So there'll
Which
be
is
construction
becoming a
there.
very busy street
It is
right
a busy
now.
road, yes, exactly. And then finally in 2027, there will be the extension of Bend Boulevard through the park as our final phase.
Which drives more people up towards the river area.
Absolutely,
Yes. And what development do you hope to see throughout that area? We're looking way ahead right
Sure,
now.
yeah.
But once again, you build it and they shall come in a way.
Yeah. So, I think the city would be open to a lot of things. We're hoping to make it a visitor's destination. So, whether it be more restaurants, retail, it could be additional apartments, it could be, assisted living, senior housing type apartments. So we're open to a lot of different things, and having the riverfront there and having accessibility to the river is going to be a great selling point to future development.
I just still remember Case
Yeah.
being all that asphalt,
Sure.
just an eyesore,
Mm-hmm.
and what that area has become is really amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and is almost a model for other communities that have to do some of this work.
That have similar type properties, sure. Yeah, the team worked for years between the city, REDEEM, our office, and the developers. It really was a team effort, and it's a great success story.
So how do you capitalize upon that? You have to sell the idea of outsiders to invest, but also local people to invest in this region.
Sure. So we have seen a lot of local investment so far in the site, and I think that we're open to anyone who's interested in that development to join us in East Moline.
There's another thing is, because you always think of that sign where East Moline says, we're one of the Quad Cities.
Right.
And let's underline that, because
Sure.
there's a bit of a chip on the shoulder of East Moline, understandably. The Channel Cat goes from Moline to Bettendorf to Davenport. There's no East Moline stop there.
not.
That's a big deal, too, is to create a Channel Cat. For those who don't know, it's the water taxi on the Mississippi River, is to create a dock in East Moline.
Yes. So we're thrilled that MetroLink is working with the city of East Moline to create a new dock at the Bend. It'll be near the hotel, and it will be serviced by their new electric ferries that they will be adding to their fleet next year. So in 2026, they will be building the dock, and it'll just be a new avenue that people can come to East Moline and enjoy our downtown spaces.
The key really is amenities.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
to make it's to make an area more friendly for visitors and for residents to rediscover.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's part of the goal, is to bring more visitors to the region in addition to the safety and accessibility aspects.
Not only more visitors, but and Channel Cat's not going to do this, of course, but also more housing. Each of the communities and every community throughout the U.S., it seems, has some issue as far as affordable housing is concerned. How does REDEEM try to tackle that issue in East Moline?
Yeah, so REDEEM has been working. One example is there's new residential development at the Quarter, which is located just upstream from the Bend and the Rust Belt area. REDEEM previously had owned the property and worked with the developer to now build upwards of 80 new residences in the East Moline riverfront area.
So what does that mean, 80 new residences? Because when I think of the Quarter, I think of condos and multi. I don't know what you would call multi-housing units or whatever you want to call them.
Yep, so they're all, except for one, they're all duplexes.
Okay.
40 different buildings, 80 new residences in round numbers. That's a great new investment in East Moline. And so that will bring some new tax revenue and residences, which are all great things.
That is huge. What is the timeline for that expansion then?
Yeah, so he is the developer on his final lot. So we're looking at, I think, 14 new locations there. And then he will be all fully built out.
We're talking about a new development. Let's talk about some of the older areas and East Moline's Avenue of the Cities. That's a stretch of commercial that has been successful for the city.
Yes. So, there are some additional retail and residential developments that are looking in the area. The city's actually looking at a potential new TIF area
Right.
to accommodate and to kind of take advantage of some of those new developments that are coming. So we hope to have that up and running by the end of the calendar year to start working through those.
TIFs are also somewhat controversial because it's tax money that's just staying in that area, is not necessarily going out to other. It's not shared by the whole city.
Sure.
What do you hope that the TIF would be able to help as far as development in the Avenue of the Cities area?
In the Avenue Cities, yeah. I mean, so, you know, if there were a residential development, extending infrastructure to each of the residences can be expensive. So helping to spur those residential developments is a great use of TIF funding. You know, street updates, you know, infrastructure and intersection updates, all those things that will make traveling through the Avenue of the Cities and visiting the businesses along there a better experience for all.
One of the other areas of East Moline that sometimes, in that area you got a couple communities going on, so you're not quite sure where the East Moline city boundary is, but you have control basically of the southern interchange of Interstate 80. That's a huge development possibility for East Moline.
Yes, so the city did annex the area south of Interstate 80 in the early 2000s. So there is the possibility for future industrial development out in the 88 interchange area.
Right.
Yes, so we do have a site there. It's 1,000 acres, and it's got great transportation access, and most utilities are to the site. So we are working with the city to try to figure out what's feasible on that site.
Because you look at some of the I-80 interchange, you definitely look at Middle Road interchange and what that has happened for the city of Bettendorf, that's exploded. Is that doesn't seem to be the same vision East Moline has for the I-80 interchange, because you're talking more industrial.
Yes, so I think the vision is industrial warehousing, some of those heavier things that are away from residences but need great access to interstates and railroads and things like that. So all of those things are possible on this site that we're looking at.
You're relatively new to the job.
I am, yes.
So tell me, as far as you're concerned for REDEEM, what is your short-term goal, and also what's the long-term goal that you're hoping?
Yeah, so I mean, short term is really, you know, continuing to meet business leaders, understand the businesses in the region, and other stakeholders in East Moline. On the little bit longer, I mean, obviously we have some grants that are working through the city. So there's a site readiness grant on the site that we discussed out at the 8088 interchange. So we'll be involved in that process with the city. The greater the greater downtown redevelopment project that we talked about at the Bend, the downtown, continuing to stay involved in those. And then obviously working through potential development opportunities as they present themselves, and seeking those out to be responsive to those. So those are kind of our big buckets of work.
And the other thing that I know you're not totally actively involved in this, but when it comes to East Moline, you're also creating more events that draw people to downtown. I think of the 4th of July parade and the huge number of people that are there, the Firecracker Run and Runners Park that's downtown, which is a huge amenity with the band shell that allows for concerts that are scheduled throughout.
Right.
How important is it, as far as you're concerned, as far as the economic and regional development of East Moline, how important is this whole amenities and improvement of lifestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's key, right? In economic development, it hasn't always been a top tier effort, but it really has become something that we have to focus on. And having an inviting place where people want to live and want to spend time, make friends, and place roots, we have to have those amenities in place. So, I mean, it's become extremely important to economic development.
It's also been paramount with the Quad Cities Chamber of Commerce, and it's also downtown developments have been important, where they have people that are in Rock Island and in Bettendorf and in Davenport. How important is it to REDEEM to have partnerships with groups like the Chamber or the other economic development groups that are throughout the city? The whole city area.
Yeah, so I would say that REDEEM thrives on partnerships, right? We work closely with the city. The Quad Cities Chamber is probably the next closest ally that we use. East Moline Main Street Association is right next door to my office, so we're always talking about ways to collaborate as well. So partnerships for us are key, and it's really what makes projects work. So.
Our thanks to Janelle Wolber, the Executive Vice President for REDEEM. In a moment, a boost for bicycling in the cities. But first, here's some events that may be perfect for you, your family, and friends, thanks to Visit Quad Cities.
Check out the things to do this week in the Quad Cities. Teachers and nurses, show your badge at Vibrant Coffee House on May 7th to receive a $1 energy drink all day. Then you can enjoy Fridays at Hallberg, where you can meet friends and tour the mansion from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. on May 9th. Next, you can have a blast at the Putnam Palooza, where there will be activities, live music, and food trucks on May 10th. Next, join Quad City Symphony Orchestra and experience an immersive concert experience at the Adler Theater. And finally, see Blippi live at the Adler Theater on May 11th from 2 to 4:30 p.m. For more events like these, make sure you head to our events calendar at visitquadcities.com.
Over the last decade, the cities has gone to great lengths to create and to strengthen its system of bicycle trails. And it makes sense on many different levels. Not only can local bicyclists enjoy safer routes in the city, but the trails are also being developed to link up with other bicycle routes that form a network of trails linking all of America, north to south, east to west, and through the cities. Now there's a new development underway. So we're joined with Moline's Manager of Community Engagement, Ashley Smith. So phase one of the construction is over. You had the ribbon cutting. Tell me a little bit about the importance of bicycling in Moline in particular.
Yeah, so a big priority of our mayor and our council is to increase our multimodal transportation. And so having a path that can accommodate that north-south connection is very valuable. Our community is very proud of the fact that we go east-west, and that is unique and fun, but to have the north-south connection really helps us get across that Mississippi Bridge, connect us to that American Discovery Trail. It's very important just to have the option for either walking, biking, just the multimodal piece of it is something that we really have a lot of value in.
Well, you go through history and you think of the railroad bridge, one of the first to cross the Mississippi River, and it made a huge link between east and west, of course, and the Quad Cities being right there. Then you think of I-80, which does it for automobiles, a huge link east and west. But bicycling now has it as well, and it really has drawn people to the cities?
Yes, oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have a really large and strong, proud bicycling community. So to be able to give them more options and more efficient routes has been a big deal. I know that we've received a lot of praise post the ribbon cutting and a lot of people reaching out just wanting more information about phase 2 and phase 3. So there's a lot of interest there, a lot of value. And yeah, it's just another form of transportation that we want to be able to accommodate so that we make sure that everyone is able to get where they need to go safely.
So we're talking east-west, also north-south, the crossroads, and that's where the development really is needed. And you've got a 3-phase program in order to make a north-south route more viable through the cities.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, so the phase 1 was from Avenue of the Cities down to River Drive, getting you onto the path there. Phase 2 was going to be from the Avenue to 36th Avenue, and that is going to be funded by the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program funding. I'm rambling a little bit.
No,
so
you're
help
doing
me
great.
out.
And then the third phase is?
The third phase will be 36 South to the Rock River, and that one will be constructed by the Illinois Department of Transportation.
And we're talking construction. I mean, how is it different than what's going on right now? You're getting people off the streets. The key is safety here.
Exactly. Yeah, safety, accessibility, giving people the option. Not everybody travels by car. We want to make sure that we're accommodating all of our citizens, and yeah, just making sure that safety is key number one. Like, that is absolutely priority.
Well, I've been talking about like people that are from out of town doing either east-west route or hopefully now the north-south route, and there's there's groups that do it throughout the year, which is amazing. What about local bicyclists? I mean, I guess as a car driver, you get so used to seeing the extra lane or the painted bicycle logo. It's been a commitment to make the entire city more bicycle friendly.
Yes, it has. It has, once again, just emphasizing the multimodal piece. That is a priority of ours. We want to make sure that to get through the area, it's accessible to all. Cycling, once again, does have a large following in our community, and we just want to make sure that we are cultivating an environment that accommodates that type of transportation.
And one other thing is Bike to Work Week, which you wanted to talk about,
Yes,
because in a way
yes.
Moline kicks that off.
Yes, so Bike to Work Week begins May 12th, and typically we know that the City of Rock Island has done a great job of hosting their own Bike to Work Day, and so we have begun working in collaboration with them. We will bookend that week, so City of Moline will kick off that week on Monday, May 12th. From about 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. We'll be at Bass Street Landing. We'll have breakfast. We'll have resources for cyclists or even people that are curious about cycling. We chose Bass Street Landing. It's just enough off the path that bikers can get to us, but also if you're not a cyclist but you want to learn more, you can pull up, walk up. We want to make sure that everybody is able to access this event on May 12th.
And let's be honest, I mean, as you were saying, safety is such a huge issue, but urban cycling, bicycles inside the city is becoming far more common, and you know, in so many different ways, you do have to make it safer and more convenient.
Yes, absolutely. We're very interested in becoming a more walkable city. That is terminology that we use quite often within the city. We want to make sure that people are able to get to and, you know, from where they need to go. Once again, we understand that having a vehicle can be a privilege. Not everybody has access to that. Not everybody wants to take the bus. So we just want to make sure that everybody has a safe route of getting where they need to go.
Our thanks to Moline's Manager of Community Engagement, Ashley Smith. On the air, on the radio, on the web, on your mobile device, and streaming on your computer. Thanks for taking some time to join us as we talk about the issues on the cities.
IHM VCU, we've always been here for you. You are and always will be our top priority. We care about your financial health, and we are here. IHM VCU is a proud supporter of WQPT.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 35 years.